everybody, my name is Elise Wang and today I'm going to share a little video on how I painted this JAGRAS. I painted these using Vallejo and Army paints as well as Golden Artist colors. There are some parts that I reuse materials, like the rocks they're made out of plaster of Paris. The rocky terrains are out of coffee grounds. The vegetations, I bought them from an aquarium store. The little decorations for owners that want to decorate their aquarium with fake plants. The little tuft of lighter green grass is from Citadel, and the nylon green grass is just from a normal arts and crafts store. I airbrushed the base of the JAGRAS, though it's not really necessary to use an airbrush, it just makes things move faster. Hope this video is of use to you. And before we get into the video, I'd like to share with you my Patreon. Hi everybody, this video is sponsored by me. Patreon is a monthly subscription where you can receive exclusive rewards. There are different tiers to choose from supporting me generally for the content I provide, to giving full-size image of my artwork, to me sending you a personalized wax sealed letter, to STL files if you like to 3D print and paint your own sculptures. There's a 7-day free trial, so do check it out. Link is in the video description. First off, I airbrushed the JAGRAS with dark brown as I plan to create layers through dry brushing. Dry brushing is a technique whereby you take an old brush you don't mind mistreating and adding paint to the bristles, but brushing the excess paint off onto a cloth. This allows to color the very surface of the figurine. This is good for figurines with lots of texture, as this will bring out a lot of the details. I generally start with white to really bring out the brightness, then use the color I intended, in this case yellow, to go over the white. Yellow was a difficult color to work with because I wanted to use dark brown as the shadows, but adding yellow on top, it somehow gave a very dull look. So I had to find ways to make it a little more interesting. I went over with orange, and I would occasionally use chestnut ink as well to add contrast. I would do this multiple times to create layers, and also with each layer, the color becomes more saturated as we move further away from the dark brown. Inks are more fluid. It will seep into the crevices of the figurine's details, adding more depth. It's kind of an opposite of dry brushing, if you will. However, the ink also adds a nice blend to the yellow, giving it a warmer look. It also makes the transition more seamless in certain areas from mid-tone to shadows. Using a liner brush, I use a dark green ink to color the JAGRAS eye makeup. I gave it a touch of black to also add more contrast and make the eye pop even more. Even though dry brushing gives a good highlight, I feel it becomes crisper if you manually add highlights on top of the dry brushing. Using a liner brush, I highlighted the very edge of scales and mouth and other wrinkly parts of the JAGRAS that I felt needed that little pop. I feel this really gives a punch to the whole aesthetic. If I feel the white in the end was a bit too strong, I'll go over it with a diluted yellow. I also used dark green ink for his body pattern. As inks are somewhat transparent, it doesn't entirely take away the paintwork I did underneath, which is great because it doesn't undo all the work I have done and it still showcases the shadows, midtones, and highlights. It's just the dark green ink, give it a change of color. I didn't use a detailed brush and I just laid down the yellow at the top and highlighted with white. The end result looked quite seamless, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. I didn't bother making the transition smooth because it felt natural as it is. I painted the base black, so when I glue down the coffee grounds, there won't be any gray on the base where I can't get to. I use hot glue to stick the vegetation as well as the big rocks. There is an X pattern on the base underneath the monster. It has to do with the game's targeting system or something, so the rocks and vegetation is an indicator of that when we cover the base with coffee grounds. I'll use PVA glue and I use coffee grounds to imitate a rocky terrain. I use newspapers below so I can collect any leftover grounds that didn't stick and pour it back into the container. This way I get to save on coffee grounds and reuse materials. Once that's done, I painted the coffee grounds and rocks with black primer, and then I dry brushed the ground to give it more depth and make it less boring. You usually find JAGRAS in a very foresty environment, so I wanted to add more vegetation, different kinds of vegetation that you can find in a forest. So I added tufts of grass. These ones are from Citadel and they already have adhesive at the bottom, so I just gotta stick it down. I wanted more variety, so I used nylon grass. Again, I used PVA glue and put the grass on the applied section using tweezers. As before, I used newspapers underneath, so any excess nylon grass that I tip off later can be used for future projects again. That's all for today. If you like my videos, it will help if you hit that like and subscribe button and share it to your friends who you might think might find it useful. I'd like to thank my patrons for supporting me over the years over at Patreon and letting me do what I love. I share videos, tutorials, and photo references for free for artists to use, so if you would like to support me and help make all of this sustainable, you can do so by pledging over at Patreon. You can also join my Discord server as I'm trying to create a wholesome community, and you can also get notified where I go live on Twitch, where I make all this artwork happen. All links are down below in the video description. That's all for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!